Stand up to pray. In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, one God. Amen. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. In Christ Jesus our Lord, for thine the kingdom, power, the glory, forever and ever. Amen. In the name of the Father, and the Son, the Holy Spirit, one God. Amen.
The name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, one God. Amen. Is this one better or this one is better? This one is better, this one is better. Both are bad. Both are bad. The stronger, this one is stronger? This one. Okay. Thank you. So في حد ما عندناش حد انجليزي هنا بنتكلم عربي. يبقى احنا عندنا اجتماع النهارده للسيرفنتس servants prep servants prep servants بس صح مش كده okay and high school university college and grades نبتدي كده servants preparation إيهاب هديك الميكروفون الروحي شوية. So, where are we in servants preparation so far? And a quick report كده عن servants preparation.
So we, we started the new semester in the beginning of the year. No. And it's okay. I'm just gonna make it closer. So last year we took feedback from all the servants and from the kids, the grade 12 kids. We do this every year about things that they wanted to see in the curriculum or things that they think that didn't think that they were important, or some lesson like so we take all the suggestions and then we make changes to the curriculum. Not major changes, but we try to make it better every year than the year before. So for example, this year there were some lessons that the servants thought that they could be combined into, like 2 lessons can be combined in one because they're similar topics. So we did combine some of the lessons and we expanded on other lessons. We didn't do, we only did apologetics in grade 9, and the kids have asked to have it again in grade 11 and 12. So we are still keeping it in grade 9 because we feel that the kids are exposed to that when they go into high school. But then we're going to repeat it again in, I can't remember, grade 11 or 12. So this is from the curriculum changes. There's no changes in the way in our numbers, except maybe Mina is not able to serve in the next few months. So he asked not to be involved for a couple of months. So grade 10 are down 1 servant, and I'm still by myself with Justina, so we can use another person for sure. Last year we managed for most classes to put the lessons on the website, and we're going to try and make the same thing again this year. So just review the folders that are on under website lessons on Dropbox, and make sure that we have all the lessons. This way I can ask yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, we were asked to go downstairs, so that's why we were downstairs with you. كلنا we were downstairs. So we'll start the Servants Web update for all of us to know what's the update on our youth, grade 9 to 12, on the Servants Web program, which is Sunday, 1:30 to 2:30. Before we start, we would like to welcome Carrie. First meeting, right? Thank you. Of course, Mike too. First status. A new status. Welcome, Habib. Welcome. So, go ahead.
So I was just saying about the curriculum. So every year we take feedback from the servants and the grade 12 kids about things they want to see in the curriculum, or they were hoping to be in the curriculum, and then things that they think we can modify. So we did that, and then we changed some topics in the curriculum. We added some stuff, and we combined other stuff, and we removed stuff. And so that's about the curriculum. In terms of our numbers, there has been no change in the numbers, except because Mina has requested not to serve for the next 3 months or so, so he's not serving with grade 10 anymore. Otherwise, all the numbers are the same. We could use an extra person, especially in grade 12, because it's only me and Justina, and so when I'm not available, she's on her own. And she's doing a great job, but it's good to have 3 people. The website, so last year we asked all the servants to put their lessons on a folder in Dropbox. The folder is called Website Lessons, and they are named with different years. So and Carlos takes all these and he uploads them on the website. So I'm going to ask you to do that again. If you don't think that there will be any change, just send me an email saying there will be no change, so I can ask Carlos to upload the stuff. The kids, it makes a difference for the kids to have access to this. Like when we talk about something and then I refer to that, then they go back and they look at it. So it's good for them to have references.
Do we have references for the lessons and presentations? Do we have references, like where do we prepare them to put them on the slide, like on the presentation itself, for them to review?
So we don't have references on each lesson, but we have the references in the curriculum on the Excel sheet for us. But when the grade 12 graduate, I actually put this all on USB key, including the references, which are E-format books, and then they get the USB keys at the end.
It's good that when they have a lesson, they always, when they want to use any of the lessons, they go back, find out what's the references, or they can use your references as their references.
Okay, we can add the references at the end of each lesson. Let's
Yeah, at the end of the lesson. No, I'm asking about references like, the apologetics, for example. We have in the apologetics, at the last slides, we have references where to go further, to read further, books or movies or websites. But how about, and how about other lessons, other topics that we're talking about?
I think we can write the name of the book that we used, or the 2-3 books, or if it's a website, then we just write suscopts.ca as a reference. We don't have to create a link, because I mean, we can, but
just for the matter, if we use more than one reference, like if we just use suscopts, we'll listen is there, is fine. But when we use like more than one reference, هم أصل أسهل حاجة, the easiest thing is just searching Google, so type whatever you want. So we want at least tell them the specific references that we want to use, or our Orthodox references. الstructure من ناحية when do we take, when do we cancel the service and the co-op.
So based on the feedback from last year, from both servants and students, and this, some of it we were doing, so the change from last year is that we're not doing servants prep in the month of August. So for grade 12, for grade 11, they're gonna do co-op, and we have to sit down and see what co-ops they're gonna do. For grade 9 and 10, it's gonna be like vacation. We haven't planned anything for it. Grade 12, they start their co-op after the March break, and they will be in co-op until then. So for grade 12, they go Sunday school. Abuna is asking how long is the co-op. So usually, April, May, June, July, August, so 5 months. They go on Sundays in the different Sunday school classes. No, it's okay. So for grade 12, we want them to be exposed to saying the lesson under supervision for at least 4 times. They are supposed to do the lesson 4 times before they graduate. And I'm connecting with Sharif so that we make sure that Diakon Yusuf, that we can make sure that the kids are doing the 4 lessons. And then we sit with the kids at the first week of September to finalize everything before they are assigned Sunday school classes. But before we go to co-op, we do what we call mock lessons in the class, which is about 4 weeks of, they actually do the lesson in front of their peers. And then we criticize the lesson and we see what we can do better and how we can change it. And sometimes we do competitions between 2 groups to see what the kids think was the better lesson and why, and things like that. So that's for grade 12, before they go into Sunday school. For grade 11, the co-op is going to be only 1 month, but we have not yet done that. We don't know what we're going to do. Probably going to be maybe Bible study on Saturdays.
They have the march break 10, 11, 12. They have the march break to plan from A to Z. That's what we had last year.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Good.
But I don't count this in the co-op because there's no servants prep at that time anyways. So we'll count it in the co-op, but we don't have to plan for like where do they go, like with Sunday school. So we want to plan to send them somewhere for grade 11, like Bible study. If the fellowship has services that they need, and we can use the grade 11 and 12 kids, or even grade 10 kids. If it's a structure, then on a specific day, then we can use this as part of their service too. It would be good. Plus the services at the church, like they can help with maintenance, they can help with library. Although I find we tried this 2 years ago and it wasn't very successful, just because the kids want a fixed day that they go and do something and then go back. Like it's hard for us to ask them, to ask the servants of the service to call them when they need them. Or one time it's midweek, one time it's the Sunday, one time it's, so they were not committed, so it didn't work out. But we can try and revisit it again and see if we can make it work better. But I think it's better if it's 1 day a week that they know it's going to be every week that day to organize their schedule. Grade 9 and 10, where there's no co-op for them. For wash break and for trips, so we send the flyers when they send us the flyers, and then we talk about it in the class, and we encourage the kids to go and to sign up with whoever is the responsible person, and it is counted towards their co-op hours as well. And it was very successful. Last year we got a lot of feedback from the servants on those trips. Most of you were on those trips, and it was good to see what the kids are missing and what they are very good at. So it was good feedback so that we can build on it to improve the kids in their service.
So from servants of fellowship, any question, inquiries, or request from servants prep? The main goal of the servants prep, as we see from the curriculums, teaching them about faith, dogma, rights, church rights, apologetics. So this is their curriculum, and this is their area, and to prepare them for service in church, like to prepare them for service in Sunday school and Bible study, and so, and that's a goal. And that's why when we have a co-op, they use that opportunity for them to learn from the co-op, from the service. Like while they are serving, they can learn from the servants that they are serving with, and they can learn from the other, the service itself. For the co-op, and that's why we don't ask many of the youth to help, but we ask, for example, like you find us, ask grade 12 to volunteer and help with certain services, or we can ask 11 and 12. But 9, we don't ask them much for helping unless you want community hours or any hours. Like for the dinner, we ask them for the dinner, we ask them for cleaning, we ask them for, but not all grades. In terms of retreats and trips that servants prepare, when and Mary, in terms of the retreats that the servants, prep servants, they are responsible for.
ساعتها انت الوحيد اللي بتكمبلين على الصوت. no one else complains على الصوت. فلو في حد عنده كومبلين على الصوت يا ريت يتكلم مع طارق ويشوف يقول له حاجه، لانه انا عن نفسي الحاجات اللي انا يعني fought for it for so long and failed, I just have to بطلع عن الباب ده.
Okay, for the retreats, servants prep, Mary, I think the servants prep, they were responsible to arrange 2 retreats, one in March break, one in Christmas break, and the second one in summer break. Correct? So it's the Christmas break and the summer break. That's what we have, the 2 retreats. And fellowship, we have also 2 things. We have one trip, which is in the beginning of the school, September, and we also have something in March break, either a day, like activity day in the church or activity day in Galilee, or maybe like we need to discuss, like if we, is this enough for all the youth, and is this okay? Mary, go ahead. Oh no, this is for high school. Because university are different. University, we have one for the summer and one for the February, the reading week. The summer and the reading week. And also we have the Christmas break. The Christmas break is common, but the Christmas break we only do something together, like all high school and university, because that's for the university, right? Is this enough, or do you think we need to change this? There was a concern. Justina mentioned a concern that the cost will be too much per year for one family, and this is like, I think it could be a concern if we add all these trips on all these retreats. Do you think that's too much, or do you think, like, what's your ideas about this?
So I mean, it's expensive to do all this, but I don't know if every kid is going to go on all the trips. So if we plan and think that, well, half of them are going to go in one and the other half is going to go in the other, then we're trying to capture as many as we can by making 2 different dates. But if we say that this is one way of thinking. The other way of thinking is we want all the kids to go, so to be together in one trip, then we should restrict it to one trip.
The only one trip that we have, the majority of them, is a September trip. That's it has almost the majority, and there is no people who take vacation on September because they're always back for school, and all youth, they are always those who are in grade 8, they are going to grade 9, so it's going to be good for them to merge with the high. So I think this is a trip that till now, majority of youth, they are there.
It's
And the timing is good. And because of the timing is good, we always have a reservation available every year, right? But in terms of the number, are the number okay?
In my class, none of the girls are going to the girls' retreat.
Okay.
And when I asked them why, they said they didn't say a reason. But maybe because they're grade 12 and they have more work to do. I don't know about the other classes. Munir?
Share the link on the WhatsApp group. We didn't discuss it in the class yet.
I hate to say, they said it's boring and there's no fun in there. They need to go more fun place. So this is the message.
Girls. We have 2 girls registered in grade 9, I believe, 1 or 2. And I know
There is different.
I know some of the grade 12s also have graduation trips. So we're all have, like we have the trips here that we're concerned about, but there's also school trips that also add costs. So I know for the last September trip, I was talking to the grade 12 girls, and they were saying, oh, I can't do this trip and the graduation trip. So if that's
When is
also
the
a concern.
graduation trip?
I'm not sure, but that was just a mention of around that, like the cost.
Like some schools will have it around March break, some will have it in May or June. Every school is different, depends on the school.
March break or summer break? June?
Yeah, well, like the second term,
Okay.
so between January to June.
I mean, I hate to say this, but I think the purpose of, like, there's two different purposes. In answer to Ibrahim's point, which the kids probably think that, is the fellowship trip is the fun trip. The retreat is a retreat. And the kids should know that this is why we have the two, because we want you to have fun, but at the same time, it's good for you to be able to go to a covenant or a monastery to have time between you and God. And I think we need to educate, to talk to the kids and explain to them the difference between the two. Like I remember the best times of our lives was when we would go to a monastery and spend time not playing, but just meditating or talking to monks. Some of those kids have never experienced that. So I think there is a role for this, except we need to make the kids understand what is the purpose of this trip. And maybe it will only capture 50% of them or even less.
During our there's not much options. This is the only options we have. This is why it's fun to go out. So it's I need to go out, but where? The monastery? I don't know.
And you understand this, and that's why we started to make the retreats to have to include at least one day of a trip. Like for example in Pennsylvania Monastery, like it's for many reasons. It's for introducing the fun part, and also we're driving 5 hours, so it's just for New York it's just 1 hour, for example. So might as well we visit New York or have a trip. So but we can't do that in every retreat. Like we can do that in Georgia. We can do that in Paisley. Like we can't do that in every retreat. But part of it also, like I remember also, is not only a church who announced a retreat, but that retreat was part of the service, like a servant who can take the class for a retreat one night, or a group of servants who are serving a specific grade. They can take the boys, one take the girls for one night or so. And that retreat, that's the efficient way to do it. But I know your availability. That's why we can do it this way. So we do it like with this for. But we're trying to introduce some fun parts. Not every retreat we can do that. And again, that will add to the cost. If you want to add fun, the cost of that retreat, actually 1/3 of the cost is just for the 1 day of visiting New York. That will introduce another cost.
As you are training servants who will eventually convey their experience to children, just want to share with you my vision when it comes to this, and I'd like to hear from you, and we can make correction and find adjustment if needed. The church is like let's say a hospital or a restaurant that provides very healthy food. Every single one who would walk through the door of the hospital or the rehabilitation center or the food store that provides healthy food have to be served with something that will accommodate his needs. And everybody's need is different. So we find some of our children into going to monasteries and have a taste of monastic life, and they might love it or might not. Others might come closer to Christ through activities and through fun time. Not everyone is the same. We as a church has a responsibility to accommodate all these needs as much as possible, of course. Because when you think of even our time, yes, probably you enjoy this, I enjoy this, but not every single person at the church enjoyed going to trips to monasteries. But it doesn't mean that they failed in a spiritual life. Some of them are excellent servants who would serve children even in a basketball court or in a soccer game, because they will actually give them a real life example of how to behave around sports with no aggression and no violence and no swear words and no this and that. And they presented a Christian way of everyday life, Christian way for everyday life. So we need to look at both. As a matter of fact, with all due respect for people like me who, or like you, who, let's say, were more into going to monasteries, we miserably fail in connecting with youth in a basketball court. So I can't really think only that, you know, a successful Christian is the one who has to like behave like a monk in the desert. No. A perfect Christian could be could never visit a monastery before. It doesn't make him any less of a Christian. He could be a better Christian doing better activities somewhere else. So we need to respect that. We need to respect the needs of everyone. The church provides, and we as priests here have vision when it comes to trips, that we, even I think I announced that last week or during the announcements, when I said the church provides some spiritual trips, spiritual retreats, 50 and 50, and fun retreats, even like, you know, some of the ladies go to the States to do shopping and stuff. Because we want to live a normal Christian life, that we are normal Christians around the school, and we are good Christians in the shopping mall as well. We can't separate ourselves and split ourselves into two halves. I'm a good Christian only when it comes to worship and prayers, but when I go to the street, I'm a different person. And we need to teach and train our children to do that. And if I take New York trip, for example, well, they take a good spiritual dose in the monastery and prayers and stuff, but we need to also walk with them in the streets as the Lord Jesus Christ went fishing with his disciples and walked in the streets of Jerusalem and went to different places at different times to show them that Christians have to be Christians everywhere. So when I take them, or Abuna takes them to New York City, and kids become loud and scream and cross the street in a wrong way and behave wrongly, then we talk to them and say, guys, yeah, you were absolutely the best kids ever in the monastery, but once we stepped into the streets of New York City, your real color has become visible now for everyone. So do you think when people were walking in the streets, doing this and mocking people, looking like at different people in a different way, or doing wrong or behaving in a wrong way, and they think, oh, this is a church trip, will you actually behaved according to the commandment of being the light of the world and the salt of the earth? So it is an opportunity. Even the fun part of the trip is an opportunity to build better Christians. So when we design trips, not every kid has to go to a monastery, and not every kid has to go to a fun trip. Some kids can only go to monasteries, no fun at all, and they love it. Some others might just go only to fun trips with the church, because we as a church, we will make them learn a lot of things, or help them in learning a lot of things, even during the fun time of the trip or the fun trip. So I don't know about your vision when it comes to this, or what do you think of this, but I think because hospitals customize therapy and rehabilitation according to the needs of the person, and the restaurant will provide different varieties of food, as long as the hospital is providing all healthy means of rehabilitation and the restaurant is providing all healthy meals, the variety, I think, is very healthy and we can use it to our advantage in teaching our kids. I'd like to hear from you about this. Yes, Paul.
I think, like you're saying, Abuna, one of the things that we've learned from and we've talked about this as a group, is from having gone on a few of these trips now over the years, is that yes, we do spend a lot of time preparing lessons and trying to give some kind of instruction, but what I find and what we found is that where the youth really, really benefit or tell us that they benefit from these trips is just having that opportunity to have us available for almost literally 24 hours for 3 days, so that they can just kind of grab us by the sleeve and pull us aside and just kind of air out their problems. We can give them a little bit of one-on-one time, a quick prayer together with one-on-one with a servant. If they have something on their hearts that's troubling them, they can get it off their chest, they can talk about it. Or if they're going through something really, truly difficult, they can talk to us and get advice. And like you're saying, Abuna, I think that like that idea of living real Christianity, they get to actually, not that we're great examples or anything, but they actually get to see us and stay with us and spend time with us off the clock, like when they can just kind of learn that living Christianity, I think. And that's one of the things that I think that all of us have really come home with, is those experiences. Like nobody cares the lesson went great. One of the things that we really care about was that one kid that pulled us aside and said, I'm having trouble with a boy, I'm having trouble with bullies at school, I'm having trouble with my faith. I had one youth actually just last night come up to me 2 nights ago and say, I'm starting to doubt the existence of God. I'm starting to become almost atheist in my thoughts. Help me. And I want to see God. And so that one-on-one time sometimes on those trips, I mean, as fun as they seem, sometimes is a huge benefit. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is that if they were just at the monastery, that's great for the like you're saying, the youth that want that experience, but the youth that want sort of time with us, that's what these trips are really good for, I find.
Thank you, Paul. Anyone else has any input in this? Mike?
I do see value in also trying to encourage all the youth to do something that they're not used to. Like if they don't want to go to the monastery, I see value in trying to encourage them to go just for the experience. If they don't like it at the end of the day, at least they experienced it and they know it's not for them. But it could open them to a new world that they never thought was inside of them. So I think that there is a value in trying to encourage all the youth to do something that they are not, to get out of their comfort zone and to do something different.
I love the word encourage, of course. I agree with you, Mike. Yes, we should encourage them because you never know. You can't hate what you don't experience. And you can't love what you don't experience. So, yes, encouraging is the best word here. To encourage all of them to experience at least once. Go and try it. Again, back to the restaurant example, someone might just want to have like dessert. Doesn't want to try this kind, but it's good to let him try a different kind, and maybe he will get hooked to that kind, and he will skip dessert as Michael does in every meal. So you know, yes, to encourage them is something really great, but all my message here is don't get discouraged. If you feel like, or you see just few people going to the monastery in a trip, a few people saying it's not fun, they're still good people, they're still good kids. We can't just say, oh, just because they don't want a spiritual trip in our definition, because we can't define monastery trips only as spiritual and other trips as non-spiritual, because many people fall in this pit. And Christ was intentionally highlighting the fact that, guys, when you give the banner and the title of spirituality for only practices that you like to see as the Pharisees and the scribes, you are making a huge mistake, because you are excluding many people, or even better in the eyes of Christ than the scribes and the Pharisees, and they don't practice what the scribes and the Pharisees are practicing. So we have to be careful, because many times you fall in this pit of being first is judging others just because he doesn't know tasbihah, that means he's a bad kid. That's just because he does not wear a deacon, so he's not up to, in his spirituality, up to this other deacon who is, you know, learning all the hymns and stuff. We have to be very careful because kids feel it. But people look at me not as, like they're not as proud of me as the other kid who knows Al-Alhan or who's a deacon. Or we have to be very careful with this because people get excluded by our feeling. And people feel or think that spirituality has to be defined in this matter and in this manner and only in this manner. No, spirituality is God's judgment, not our judgment, and God accepts spiritual people in many shapes, forms, and sizes, not only in our defined way of spirituality. We need to be careful with this, especially when we are dealing with youth who are very sensitive to you when you look at them as if you're not good enough, just because you're not a deacon. You're not good enough, just because you're not serving in a Sunday school class. That's why when we started the Servants Prep, we said Servants Prep is to teach kids spirituality to serve in any service of the church. It doesn't have to be Sunday school class. But we want you to serve Christ according to the talent that God gave you. Even if you're fixing something in the maintenance group, or you're doing al-Urban, or you're building something around the church, do it in a spiritual way. It doesn't have to be in a Sunday school. And that's what real Christianity is. It's to live as a Christian rather than just to fit within this well-defined form of being a good spiritual Christian. I don't know, are you okay with this?
So, Abuna, if I understand correctly, we're concluding that we should keep both kinds of trips,
Yes.
and then people will choose to do this one or that one or both, even
Without
though
judging them.
Yeah,
As
even
the
though
good
they
kids
think
went to the monastery
Yeah.
and the bad kids
Yeah.
went to the basketball game, yeah. Okay? Yeah, yeah. Give them the sense of security that we're not judging them at all, regardless.
Servant prep before we move. So thank you, Abuna Yusuf, for helping us with the room. But we have problems with the upper room. I'm not sure what's the plan for the upper room with all the leather sofas coming up there, but it's causing issues for us during the class. And but the issue as well, Abuna Yusuf has been helping us with this, that the room is unlocked. So now we have youth from all ages, Sunday school grade, like all the grades are upstairs in that room, eating, leaving garbage on the floor, leftover food, and today there was water spilled everywhere. And then I have to be the one who ruins the fun because I'm the one who goes upstairs and I have to start kicking them out of the room to go to their Sunday school classes. And it's been like every single Sunday right now. So I'm not sure if the room has another purpose. We could move to any other place in the church. We're happy to go anywhere. But if not, then we need the room to be locked and not to open before 12:30. So that they are upstairs with no supervision.
So is the room always left open? That's why the kids they are accessing.
Yes.
So that's a concern.
And they bring their food upstairs
So
and they
maybe
leave
if
their
we
garbage on the
program
floor.
the lock to lock it until 12:30 until you come, that
Yes.
will solve this issue of having the room
Yeah,
inside.
Abuna Shnuda has been helping us with, Abuna Yusuf has been helping us with that, but apparently they get somebody to open the room somehow. Like today, they were all upstairs, like while everybody's still eating in the gym. So we want to make sure that this gets solved.
has programmed the room so that it does not open until 12:30. But we still find people in the room before that. So somebody is giving them access.
It's a maintenance issue that we've talked to maintenance about it. Lost people who leave the room, if you go now, you'll find it open because the door doesn't latch. So lost people who used it, let's say last night or the night before, something when they left, the door closes but doesn't latch closed. So yes, the schedule is locked, but the room is open. So it's a maintenance issue that we can talk to them to make sure that the door locks well. I noticed last time I was there that the door doesn't lock.
Them doing whatever in the beginning, and they feel it's home, which is okay. The church could be our home, but just the way we leave it in that mess takes some time from the class for us to clean it, and then we have to try to restart the lesson.
Okay, in terms of the room, in fact, fathers kindly, we increase the purpose of using this room to other things other than just a classroom. So we can use it in other a lounge or a meeting or so, and this is what we have it. So if anything extra, that will add to the usage of the room, other purposes, but will not prevent you, because this will be in an area where is the middle area, where is the seating, and you could use the front area towards the TV, toward the monitor. This is like your classroom, as usual. If this area is still blocked, it's just because of all the stuff just came back yesterday.
This way, the couches are everywhere now in the room, and they, of course, would like to sit on the comfy seats instead of the chairs. So we find some of them at the end of the room and some of them here, and it's like, come on, guys, we need to make at least sit down together so we can hear each other, we can see whatever we're gonna see together. It just doesn't work this way, having the sofas in there. So we can move. If there is another room, we can go have the class somewhere else.
I'm not sure if there's other rooms available, but I think this room would be.
اللي حصل النهارده مثلا إن إحنا we didn't have a place to sit. So we gathered here and we had the class here. So I'm just giving you the option that we had a place here. So if you'd like to move your class, بعد إذن أبونا, if there is no problem with sitting in here, we sat here in the back and it was fine. And if there is another class just in the ladies' side of the altar, so there is no contradiction. And لو هم متضايقين
Is there any other rooms, space? Maybe we can check if there's other spaces, or maybe if we ask any other class to move upstairs. No.
All the time. We don't have to tell them go out.
No, the kids.
So that's the issue number. The second issue, we're fine sitting in part of the room if that room has a plan for that's totally fine. Just until the room is done, we just want to put the couches away, because every time we come, it's a different set.
That's what we've done. The couches just came last night. So you're talking about today. See?
There are 7 couches up there.
You don't want a couch. Maybe the next. We can, I think for the lock and for the latch, maybe there's something we need to fix. And yes, the kids shouldn't be there. And the second part, either you can use it like the part towards the monitor until the room will be organized. Hopefully, this week by next Sunday. Just because of today, they were just installing and assembling, and so I imagine everything in every. It wasn't organized. Because this morning they were just assembled.
I can go next week before, 15 minutes before, if the door is not locked, and maybe we can figure out a way to get your class.
I thought you were going to say you're going to switch with Nancy. You want to take that?
I have the worst class. The baptism room is the worst. I wouldn't want to give anyone that room because it's not good at all. No. Even the TV there is small and the kids can't see anything, but it's fine.
Okay. So now we can fellowship. We can start. Mike, if you can give an introduction, how the structure, curriculum, the rotation of all grades, and if any challenges like you're facing or any ideas that you want to have to improve the server. Thank you.
In fellowship, what we're finding is that what we found in the past is the kids would sometimes say that they had lessons, for example, in servants prep, and it also repeated in fellowship. So we decided to kind of take care of the social part of Christianity, deal with things that they are experiencing in their lives at school and that sort of thing, and show them how we can deal with it the Christian way, show them how they can have a relationship with God, things like quiet time, how to read the Bible and open up the Bible, how to focus on your own spiritual growth, and at the same time still fit into the world. So that is our discipleship portion where we give the lesson. And then we have our fellowship time, which is our outings. Sometimes we'll go out somewhere on a Friday night, bowling or laser quest, where the servants will play with the youth. Or sometimes we'll stay in the gym, maybe do some activities in the gym or some board games all together. And then we have Eat, Watch, Discuss, which we'll show them a video, and it's just an open discussion. So the servant will prepare questions, open-ended questions to generate discussion, and we find that the kids, they enjoy it because they're very opinionated, and they want to share their opinion, and we just let them share their opinion and their thoughts about the video. And the servant there is there to guide the discussion, and but just let them share their views, and we really feel like the youth really benefit from that. And then we decided also that the services are very difficult to plan weekly on a Friday night, so we decided to do them quarterly on a Saturday or a Sunday. We can go out and do more things like serve with St. John the Compassionate, serve the homeless downtown, that sort of thing, where it's more difficult to do on a Friday night. The challenges that we're having for this kind of rotation, there's always, it's a lot of work, and there's a servant shortage. So we need a lot of servants to kind of maintain this. We feel like the kids really enjoy this type of rotation where they get a variety, and it just needs a lot of help.
Any ideas to improve, to do any extra things?
Well,
anyone can share if you have any.
I feel that whether it's for servants prep or fellowship, we are not doing enough publicity or education to the parents of the age group that we are teaching. I've encountered this on like a personal level with friends that have kids the same age group as my kids, who have no idea what happens in fellowship or no idea at what happens in servants prep. And they don't know what's the difference, and they don't understand why their kids, well, they ask me, well, why my kids are not taking Bible study? Why my kids are not going to do some services in the church? So I feel that as both services, we need to, I don't know how to do it, but we need to do more education for the parents. The parents' meetings have shown to be failures because nobody shows up to those meetings. So we have to figure out another way to tell people how those services are and what they do and how to help the kids become part of those services.
Is there any way to do like a clip, same as you know when CYC does any program and they start with a clip to introduce that program also? Can we do, for example, like a clip? This is a fellowship, our trips, our classes, our activities. This is a servants prep. Because I don't think any parents now, we invited them for parents meeting, and I always hear the same question when I visit people, like they ask common question. When do they have Bible study? When do they have? When do they can participate in service in general, and they don't have any clue about all these things. Or if you have other ideas, I'm not sure if you have other ideas. Yes, go ahead.
This might be like a simple idea. I don't know if someone could get like a parent's email list or something, and then we could send out like a monthly email. It would take 2 seconds to type a monthly email. This month in fellowship, we will be doing the lesson topic will be this, the Eat, Watch, Discuss will be this video, and the outing will be to Laser Quest. It's just a 3-line email that we can send once a month to all the parents. But we don't know how to collect the emails of all the parents. That's maybe something that, you know, on Sunday we can ask all parents of Fellowship Youth, just write a list somewhere, and I don't know, something. Or can it be tweeted, maybe? Like we can write a 3-line tweet every month or something? Or?
We'll make a link to collect all the information, but I think one of the best ideas during the registration of the fellowship trip, we can include during on the registration online, we can have like parents, because this is a time most of youth they register.
But then what happens when the kids graduate? And like we have to kind of know which ones are the grade 12 parents to remove them from that list. So it just becomes a lot of work to connect that parent with that child. That child is graduated, so that we have to take them off, and then it's I don't know what's. I feel like there needs to be something simple. I don't know. Just worried about that part.
Small news are short and sweet, and we tweet it. I know, like everyone will just look at, oh, this is for youth. I don't have youth. Will not read it, skip it. But it's a good idea actually, because this way you deliver the message. If people don't read it, that's their problem. So it will not do anything anyways. So Twitter is a very good idea.
So that's including like a monthly newsletter or quarterly? Like how do you want to do it every 3 months?
It doesn't even need to be a newsletter. Like it could be just a picture that we do on a slides presentation, and then we send out that slide, that picture on Twitter, the way we did yesterday.
So it'll be a quick, simple thing. Like we just have the lesson, the Eat, Pray, Watch, Discuss, the outing, and then we'll have the main points, just bullet points, and then each month we'll just send it to you, Abuna, to the priests, and then just tweet it each month, and then we'll just update it month by month.
Does that work with Servants Prep? Can that work with Servants Prep? For all classes or for each group, each grade? Like a monthly newsletter or a template for all classes per month?
Sorry, what we have done in the last
the
month,
month ahead.
or what we are going to do the next month?
The month ahead, so that they're prepared.
Okay.
For it, I think.
Yeah, we can do that.
That's a good idea. We can start that.
Because we don't want people to get bored from so many Twitter. So if you can combine more classes in one newsletter. So at the beginning, you mentioned that this newsletter is for grade this to that. So people know instead of sending each class a tweet, one for the whole fellowship.
Yeah, one for
up to you. If it's very diverse, you can have 2 tweets, not a big deal. But yeah, one for high school and one for university. Or you want to combine them, up to you.
we can try that from next month. Yeah, like we can do it for the next month lesson or for November lesson. If we have something planned already, we can do it for November. Okay, anything for fellowship, for high school fellowship? University, George?
So the structure that we have for universities is similar to the high school. So we have a 5-week system though. We have 1 week is a talk, like a general talk given by a speaker. One of the other weeks is a Bible study, because we found the youth have mentioned that they're not getting enough spirituality. So we want to encourage the spirituality more. So the talk and the Bible study are typically spiritual topics. The third thing is the Eat, Watch, Discuss, which is the same thing as what the high school does. The fourth is an outing, so whether it's sitting and playing board games or going out, it's kind of similar to what they do. And then the fifth is what we call Present Your Case, where it's something where it's a little bit more open than the discussion, where it's a topic and the groups are split, and then at the end of it they give their opinion. But they do their research, and it's not something that's like, it's not a debate. It's not, I'm right, you're wrong. It's so last week we talked about what are your priorities for Christianity. So for some people said service is their most important thing. Other people said, prayer is their most important thing. So it's something that's not going to be controversial, but it's more just, in my opinion, this is what is best for my spirituality. And then that, like with the idea of encouraging new trips, it might open someone's eyes to try something new to enhance their spiritual life. Some of the challenges we have are similar. We are short on servants and attendance. We have basically the same group of youth that are coming every week, and we're having trouble with a lot of youth who just will show up once every 1 or 2 months, and they always say, I have too many exams, I have too many this, and so attendance is definitely a challenge. We get maybe 15 to 20 people a week, whereas our list is maybe closer to 90 or 100. So,
is there an idea to do something for those who are coming, like for example during Christmas break? Some people who are traveling or studying abroad, they usually come back on Christmas break. Some of them, not everyone. And similarly in the reading week, and also for the summer break. So can we arrange like 3 events to welcome those who are coming, and we announce it ahead of time, like now we announce for those who are coming for Christmas.
So last year we did, during reading week, we did just a fun day for the youth, where they all came, we got food, and they just played games together. For Christmas break, we actually planned to have the youth over to our place and just have a fun night in our condo in the party room. So we're just finalizing that, and then for the summer we can do something similar as well. That's pretty easily done.
Okay, for the Christmas break, we just want to also, because Christmas break, there are at least 20 youth. They are going for the trip, the NBC trip. So we don't want them.
Yeah, it'll be on a different day than the trip. It won't be the same time as the trip.
And the next week they have the Pennsylvania trip, so will not be. Okay.
It's just like one afternoon or one evening that they would come.
Other ideas, George, Mir?
I just have like a similar concern to Nancy with the lounge. No, I like the couches, and the youth are really enjoying it. And when we're having our discussions, it's actually like a nice environment for them. But we came in on Friday, and the same thing. There was a bunch of kids sitting in the room. I don't want it locked, because if the youth are coming in early, like the point of the lounge is for them to come and feel comfortable. I think we need to kind of work out a system, like what are the expectations of the lounge and how to manage it so that it's not being abused or used by the wrong people.
It's a common thing, because Friday they are not only in the lounge, they are also in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
Like we see them in the gym, like from 8 o'clock when we start, they are playing in the gym. and again, no supervision, nobody there. And this is a common thing, I guess, for all kids. When they don't have a service, when they don't have anything, they just leave them. And I think this is need to. It's
Suggestion. I know in like universities or hospitals or whatever, there's like a. This is more work, I know, but if there's a sheet outside, like within like a laminated sheet, said a schedule for the room, like which group is supposed to be using this room at any given time. And it's not going to stop the kids, yes, but at least it will give us something to walk in and say, excuse me, this room is scheduled for this group right now. Everybody leave. And some of the honest kids might look at it and say, we're not supposed to be using it now. Who knows? But it might offer that extra deterrent. And then maybe also for the issue of the couches, if there's just another thought, I don't know if it's going to work or not, like a room divider, just like one of those sliding room dividers or something, so that the front of the room could be used as just a classroom and cut out the couches in the back. Might be an idea.
But we have that table for the gym downstairs. That table, that schedule, we have it for the gym downstairs. Yet the kids, they are playing. هي الissue Arabic classes and also the kids the kids of the servants who are serving in other areas, like those who are attending, for example, the Bible study, or those who are serving in the Urban, all their kids, they are all over during that time. Like I noticed, يعني اليوث كانوا بيلعبوا مع they were playing with the kids yesterday, like on Friday, they were playing with the kids. The youth were playing with the kids. So. Go ahead.
I just have a question. I'm planning outings بتاعت الولاد أو days حتى activities هنا في church. Do we respect the fasting periods والأربعاء والجمعة ولا we just like take it easy with them and we offer like both types of food, fitari and siyami? I don't know. Siyami.
No fasting period in every trip, every activity, anything that's under the supervision of the church, whether outside the church, inside the church, is fasting period. It's given. It's not negotiable. Not only fasting food, but even food that people claim that it's fasting, but it's not. We don't get it in. Like, for example, in a certain activity, you were offering siyami chocolate. There's no such a thing, okay? So when they make like the chocolate fountain, saying, oh, it's just black chocolate and it's fasting, whom are we fooling here? Like, I look at it and I say, seriously? Like, whom are we fooling God, fooling ourselves? Or what exactly we're doing? What do you mean chocolate fountain during Siyam? Like, it's chocolate, okay? so you know that behavior of the kids and the kind of, the food area or whatever, that's exactly where we sometimes, again, probably I'll repeat myself here about what I was talking about when we just frame spirituality in a certain frame. So we teach people how to pray and how to we teach them knowledge about the Bible and about Abraham was about all of this, and the basic Christian behavior they lack. The basic Christian behavior they totally lack. Like the basic is just to keep the church tidy, or Sunday school class, and I'm sorry to say, not even kids, even servants and parents. They wouldn't mind having coffee in the gym, then they spill the coffee, so they move tables and sit somewhere else. And probably the same person was just preaching about the divinity of Christ. No. And they think they're holy just because they know about the divinity of Christ. To be honest, in my opinion, like God will just look at you and say, well, with all due respect to all the knowledge you have about the Bible, but your behavior doesn't reflect Christian behavior, and that's not acceptable. Okay.
Any other concern? Mary or George? Any other concern for you? Okay. The last one is the grads. The grads meeting. And actually the grads meeting is for all grads and young adults. And this is for the last Tuesday. The grads meeting, we do it, Paul and Didi, like thankfully they were looking after it. Now they're so busy. But right now the grads meeting, when I see it, I don't see people from the church. Like I see people from, like many people, but not from the church, from outside. So hopefully this grads meeting can be for all of us to have like a fellowship, to have whatever structure you want. And this is like, it's among us, we can have it. Like I'm just inviting like all high school and university servants and all of us to be part of this grads meeting, and to form it the way that you want. It's basically like same as like it's casual way. Like you can, whatever ideas, like you're welcome to share any ideas, but we really want all of grads people to be participated in that grads meeting. There is nothing else about this, but we do have the two events, the inter-parish grads. This is on December 3rd. And also we have that event during the dinner, which is next Sunday. And after that there will be outing. Hopefully this is to have a fellowship time with all grads. Thank you. تفضل انصر.
In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, one God, amen. We thank you, Lord, for allowing us to serve your holy name. We thank you, Lord, for giving us such a blessing of serving your youth. Thank you, Lord, for being a good God who uses the weakness of others to provide service to others who are also weak. I ask you, Lord, that you put your hands on this service, make it to be a beneficial service that would bring people close to you. Help it, Lord, to be a channel, an open channel between you and the children that we serve. I ask you, Lord, for the servants who are standing before you, that you bless them with every blessing, heavenly and earthly, and for my fathers, Abu Abraham and Abu Shnura, that you reward their labor of love. We ask you, Lord, through the intercession of Saint Mary and Saint Joseph, that you hear us. We thank you, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. In Christ Jesus our Lord, for thine the kingdom, power, the glory, forever and ever. Amen. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, one God. Amen.
And now may the love of God the Father, the grace of his only begotten Son, our Lord God and Savior Jesus Christ, be with you. Go in peace. May the peace of the Lord be with you.